Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.
All right, Legends 34, episode 12, man. It makes a dozen. That is nuts, huh? Right. First of all, I want to start out still on the that damn Sin, the rapper, trying to get him a prosthetic leg. I put that up in last broadcast with Cadillac Anderson, which was a great interview. If you've not seen it, it's 2 parts, and you check that out. Subscribe, drop a comment. What a wonderful, incredible interview that way. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the But first things first, man, we want to talk about the WNBA. We'll get there. The NBA in the finals right now. Celtics and Mavericks. Look like Mavericks on their last leg. Or Porzingis is on his last leg. Which one? Take a pick, huh?
The Mavericks might be down to just the torso, man. Ain't no leg. I mean, they had a good opportunity to win Game 3. They made a comeback. They were ahead early. Then got down by 20, got down to 3. But my thing about it, what I'm taking away from the whole thing, man, Luka Doncic, man, he crying too much, man.
Yeah.
He's crying too much. His every single play, he's complaining to the referee. Every play. So it's like that's deflating to your own team. Because if you got guys that are focused on trying to get back on defense, hustle, play, it's hard enough playing against this team you're playing against.
Just said it.
And your best player, every time even when something don't happen, he looking at the referee, man, that's demoralizing, bro. So it's pretty much over now, unless somebody decides they're gonna shatter the 155-0 that is when somebody's down 3-0. But moving forward, that's a glaring weakness in his, not even his game, but just in his personality that he got to fix. Because I'm looking at how the other guys react to it, and then he yelled at the bench, like, challenge the effing call. It's like, man, you can't show your coaching staff up like that. You can't show your players. That's just a bad look, man. As great as he is, that's bad, bro.
Is he learning from the school of LeBron?
Man, the one thing I'll say... It
makes you wonder how much LeBron influence is on the league, let alone him.
I'll say this. LeBron at least has championships and a more established legacy to justify it. I don't like when LeBron flopping, and I saw the clip where he was holding his head for 25 minutes like he got hit with a sledgehammer. I don't like that either, but at least you could say, well, man, the man has won 4 championships. The man's an all-time leading scorer. The man is one of the top probably 5 players of all time. Get to that level first where you won a little bit, then maybe you could, because Magic Johnson used to cry to the referees and different players, but you have something to stand on in terms of you earn that. Dude, you haven't won yet. And you think, and Luka got a history of that because he's done it in the European League, he's done it in other settings where they've shown him just losing it when it comes to the refs. And I would look at it like, dude, you're not doing your team a favor because now you turn the referees against you. Now you're not going to get calls that could have been borderline or 50-50 that they may have gave you the benefit of the doubt on. You showing them up, fussing at them, talking crazy to them every single time. The ref looking at you now like, it is what it is. So you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt even at home. So he got to stop doing that. I mean, it's too late now because they done. And Boston's so focused, Boston on a mission. They're going to win. But that's something that stood out to me last night when I watched that game, man.
And you touched on a part of that, and that's not playing defense.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Gilbert Arenas. He's got a podcast, and he's been causing up a lot of controversy with his comments here and there. And one of them is European players don't play defense. Well, I kind of agree with that as far as Luka. I mean, you're over here complaining about calls. Get back down on the other end on the court, man. Go block a shot. Get the rebound, man. Yeah. Stay in front of somebody, man.
And you know what?
Take that energy and transfer it on the defense.
I'll say this, though. If you got a guy that's guaranteed to get you 30, 35 points a game, sometimes you'll say, we'll just deal with his lack. Just like when James Harden was playing for the Rockets. He's going to get you 35 points, 10 assists a game. We'll turn a blind eye on your defense because of what you do in the other areas. Even though that's still not an excuse. The game consists of two sides of the ball, offense and defense. Now, Luka's the same way. He's just like a semi-reincarnation of James Harden, but I didn't even see James complain to the referees like this guy complains to the referee. But you got to get an effort, especially at this level. You've already made it past 3 rounds of playoffs, and now you're in the championship round. Now, they are saying he's got some injuries, he's hurt. Cool. But, man, he was never known to be no defensive ace anyway, but you got to give an effort, bro. You take guys like Joker, not a great defensive player, but Larry Bird wasn't a great defensive player, but you could think ahead of the play in order to put yourself in a position to draw a charge, to put yourself in a position to get a steal in the passing lane. It's things that you can do to make yourself a better defender, even if your physical abilities are not geared up or built for you to do that.
Mm-hmm. And you see the Celtics, they got the formula, man. They play defense.
Yeah, they got the pieces.
They robbing him at a half court, right? Jaylen Brown's picking his pocket, Luka's pocket at the half court line.
They got the personnel. You could put Tatum on. They got 6 guys you could put on him.
Right.
Tatum, Brown, Holiday, White. What's my other guy's name? I'm drawing a blank, but they got at least 6 guys that they can put on him. So over time, that's going to wear a guy down, a perimeter guy who's ball dominant, and he's constantly dribbling, and that's no ball movement. So if you let a defense like Boston get a chance to just sit down on you, it's a wrap.
Right.
So yeah, they got it. They need what would have helped them in this series is to have a third guy that can create his own shot, and they got 2. But they need that third guy because P.J. Washington is not that guy. He's more spot up, Derrick Jones spot up, and then the 2 big guys, all they doing is catching alley-oops. That's it. So I mean, they had a good run. They had a good run. I'm gonna say something that a lot of people might get mad at, but I'm never upset when Dallas loses in any sport. Never upset when Dallas loses in any sport, but I love Kyrie, so I was kind of conflicted. But, yeah, it's a wrap, though. It's a wrap.
He showed up last game. They were wondering when he was going to show up. But, as far as the Celtics go, I would like to give a shout-out to a couple of players. They've been playing a long time, and we've seen how hard they work. They play every game, through injuries. They've been on a couple teams here and there. Maybe they found a home with the Celtics. And that'd be Al Horford.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe has won one yet. He's been close.
16, 17 years in the league.
But what a veteran, and he adapted. He's a big man who adapted.
Right.
I believe probably unwillingly.
Yeah.
I don't know your opinion on that.
Yeah.
But Al Horford is not the greatest shooter, but he can knock down the three-point list, the coffin corner, right? He's proven that. Right. And he had to adapt to today's game. But he's a classic big man who can play inside. He can post up. He plays good defense. And then the other player is Derek White, like you mentioned,
no doubt.
From the Spurs, right? Under Pop for all those years. And they say that he is the complete package of a player. He's the ultimate teammate, right?
He is,
this will be great when probably they will win, whether they sweep or not.
Your formula got to consist of not just talent, but it got to consist of great character guys who have no problem plugging into a certain role and playing that role and maxing out in that role. So you mentioned Al Horford. Al Horford is a guy who, 17 years in the league, he came from that old conventional style, but like a Brook Lopez, he adapted his game and said, okay, well, this is the direction the league is going to. I need to expand my range, and that's what he did. And I think for him and a guy like Brook Lopez, that may have added 4 or 5 extra years onto his career, because had he stayed just as that inside guy and that's all they were doing, it may not be a place for him in the league right now. You know, he may have been phased out some years back. So yeah, him, and then Derek White, you come up under Pop, you're gonna learn how to be selfless off the muscle. That's what you're gonna learn. That it's about the team instead of you. Then you mix in Holiday. Then you mix in what Tatum and Brown have been through, just learning that, because they came in like, we star players, we're gonna do what we do. But now they're learning because they've been so close, and now it hadn't happened. So they like, man, we don't care who scored the most points, because Jaylen Brown is gonna win Finals MVP. You know, if they close this thing out, he's going to be the Finals MVP, because he's been the best player. He was the best player in the conference finals, and he got the conference finals MVP, and he's been the best player for them in the finals. So it's not going to be Tatum. But if you're trying to win, everybody has to accept, well, if I hit 2 points in the last game and we holding that trophy up, I'm good. I'm still a superstar. Jason Tatum's still going to get a max deal. He going to get more than what Brown got. Everybody happy.
It's worth mentioning, though, all the criticism that comes with today's modern athlete. These huge, bloated contracts, especially Jaylen Brown. I think he's the most. Yeah. He's the highest paid NBA, let alone one of the highest paid athletes there is, right? Right. But this man goes out on the court and proves it, right? He earns his paycheck. Man. You got to give man credit to that, right?
That's surprising, because not surprising for him, it's surprising to see that scenario, because a lot of times, man, you can't live up to, you guys ain't living up to that money they get, man. So for him to actually outplay, he played better than he's played. This is probably his best year after getting the money. And a lot of guys play up to the point to get the money. Like they'll say, oh man, it's a contract year. That's why he averaging 29 again. His previous high was 15 a game. Now he averaging 30 this year because it's a contract year. Then when they get that money, they fall back off. But when you just have that greatness, just want to be great, you're going to get the money anyway. You already making money. Michael Jordan was already making money. Magic out. They wanted to be better than everybody else and win. Winning was still number one. So, yeah, Jaylen Brown showed that, yeah, y'all gave me $300-something million, but I ain't resting on that. And his contract is going to actually become like an average in a few years. Once they start paying all of the other guys that's coming up for this money, by the time it's time to pay Ant-Man and Wemby and all these, Wemby might make $500 million. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that contract is not going to even look like it looks now down the line. I
can't help but remind myself, this is Legends 34, right? The classic line, tell Kelvin Cato what?
Oh, I ain't gonna say it. Shout out to ESG,
man. We want all that money back.
Now, this is the funny part about that is, like, I think that was like $20 million. If I ain't mistaken, we
one preseason game, he blocked what?
He had a hell of
shots.
Say, man, look, I ain't mad at you, Cato. Because at the end of the day, you got billionaires that are paying millionaires, or billionaires giving people money to become millionaires. Look, man, hey, if I can do one thing to get my money, cool. But he fooled a lot of us. Right. Because if you remember that Akeem was still on the team. So he was being paid as if, oh, this dude about to be the successor to Elijah One, because he did have that strong preseason game. But I never looked at it like that, because I'm looking at his offensive game. His offensive game wasn't polished the way I was nah, he just had a good night. And he got his money, and I'm glad he did.
He sure did.
But nah, he was never going to be a guy that you can just get a ball to and he go to work. And that wasn't his game, man.
I got to be careful who I'm name dropping and criticizing, man. Murder One might find Kelvin Cato at the store. We get him on the show. And he'll come here and slap me, huh?
Now, but like I say, I think that line, when ESG said that line, it was like everybody like, ooh, because of the drop off of this game that took place after that. But I ain't mad.
I wish
I could find me a billionaire to give me 20
I hate to get off on that side note, but at the time, I think it was, I don't know, I think part of it was Dream leaving.
Yeah.
Was part of that criticism, which he did. He went to Toronto or whatever, which broke our hearts. But he did come back to retire. But
well, he could have like we just got through talking about with Jaylen Brown, we joking about it, but it's still your responsibility to earn your money. You know, so if somebody say, man, I'll give you $1 million to write me an album, and they pay me up front for it, I'm still not just gonna create something just half. You know, I'm gonna still give my best. So that's the thing. It's like we said, a lot of guys get the money, and it's like, I'm good now. You know,
Yeah.
But I always think about it from this standpoint. You still young. Now the goal is to get another contract. In 4 years, when this one is over with, now you could get $40 million next time. I'm not gonna just be happy with the first, and I got years left in the league. Hey man, get better and make some more money. That's how I look at it.
Right.
So.
And Reggie, if you could bring up the little tribute here, we want to pay some homage to a legend that we lost yesterday, and that's Jerry West, at I believe 86 years old, who is the logo of the NBA. If those who don't know this, right, that's how immortalized this man was. And always, sorry, Kay, always reference your age, but you are a little more dated than me, and you probably got to see him play.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
You're not that old. I need to shut
that.
up.
I was alive. But I think Jerry West might have retired in 74.
Okay.
74.
Just pull up some of these clips. You can mute it, Reg.
Never knows when you're going to shoot.
Yeah.
But, man, this dude was Mr. Daylight. Wow, what a trigger, man.
Yeah. See, that move that he's doing, that move is still a move. That's one dribble pull-up.
Yeah.
One dribble
so
pull-up.
efficient this man was.
Boom. And he's doing drills with a guy contesting.
Yeah,
so
in his face.
Now, this had to be probably in the 60s or 70s when he was doing but the repetition of this move, same thing, translated into the pros.
Yeah.
That's still a move that's worked on in practice today.
Oh, yeah.
So now you do it so many times that it just becomes second nature to you.
Look at this shot. I love this shot right here.
Yeah, Mr. Clutch, the logo. He made his mark. A lot of people are going to talk about, well, man, he was 1-8 in the finals or 1-9 in the finals or whatever he was. But, you know, my thing is, that's not a good record, but you still got to get there 8-9 times. And everybody else don't get there like that. So, yeah, Jerry, and then he made his mark as an executive.
Sure did.
Won a lot of rings as an executive with the Lakers.
Showtime Lakers, man. It was his construct, right?
He made the move to bring Kobe to the Lakers.
Yes.
You know,
he got Vlade Divac.
They got Kobe for Vlade Divac, and he got Shaq to L.A. You know, he got Shaq to come to L.A. So a lot of the little moves, the subtle moves that he made that didn't seem like much at the time that the Shaq move did, but the Kobe move, didn't nobody know who Kobe was. And then you get this guy at the 13th pick and convince Charlotte somehow to come up off him, man. You know, he's just a basketball lifer that made his mark, man. You can't help but to make your mark, because every time somebody lays that ball up against that backboard, they gonna see you as that silhouette, as that logo on the backboard or any NBA paraphernalia. Man. So yeah, Jerry did his thing, man, because. Like I say, Kobe's 17 years old, bro.
Right.
And so you bring this kid in for a workout, and you instantly say, I'm getting ready to trade one of our established veterans for a 17, about to turn 18-year-old young kid out of high school.
Right.
And this is going to be the guy that we pair up with Shaq and win. He already saw that. So you got to give Jerry West a lot of props on that, because that had to be imagine if somebody did that today. You know, just some guy that nobody knows coming out of high school or the G League or something, and you trade an established guy. Man, with in this world of social media and ESPN, I mean, they kill him. They roast him to death. But you know, you got to trust your guys that you put in those front office positions, and sometimes they see talent and are better evaluators of talent than other people.
And on a side note, we're bringing up Jerry West. I don't know if you've heard about or seen. There was a show they did on Showtime. I think it was called Showtime. I don't really watch it.
Yeah.
But the way they portrayed Jerry West, they said it was in a bad light. It's not true. And I think they even threatened maybe to file suit for slander. And
nobody associated nobody who was depicted in that show was happy about how they was portrayed in that show. Jerry West wasn't happy, Magic, Kareem, they've all spoken on it in interviews about how inaccurate it was and how they didn't like it. They characterized Jerry West as just this hot-headed dude who depressed up and down, always upset and dissatisfied, and just shady type of dude. That's how they characterize him. And he spoke out about it before he passed. I watched that show. I ain't gonna lie.
I have not seen it.
Season 2 is already. I'm waiting on season 3. But but as a fan of those Lakers and as a fan of those players and all that, I'm able to watch it and separate the entertainment aspect and the creative liberties that they took from what I know to be the reality, or what I believe to be the reality. Because some of the stuff you watch, you're like, yeah, right. But they try to get as close as they could,
right?
But trust me, it's mainly creative liberties that they take. That's all it is. It's just entertainment. So, yeah.
I guess Bird's portrayal's pretty on point. Him talking smack.
Yeah, they got Bird talking smack. They broke down because it's in the early days of the Lakers. It's like when Magic. It starts from Magic's rookie year. It starts from him in Michigan State. Then it goes so the team that he's on in this series, they still got Norm Nixon as the other guard with Magic. They still got Spencer Haywood and people like that. Kareem is real standoffish, which he probably like that in real life. But just it depicts Magic's first couple of years with Paul Westhead, the coach, and then going into Pat Riley. Pat Riley was an assistant at the time, so they went way, 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 way back.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're still in the NBA. Do you have any of the topics on the NBA you wanted to cover?
Yeah. While we talk about Jerry West, man, I want to shout out to another legend. We lost Chet Walker, man. Chet Walker played.
I've not heard about that.
He played for Philadelphia. Played with Wilt Chamberlain, Hall of Fame, one of the top players of all time. He wasn't as notable or known as Jerry West, but in his day.
Right.
He was a perennial All-Star Hall of Famer that's on that level, and he passed away just a few days ago as well. So in that one span has been Bill Walton, Chet Walker, Jerry West. And I was thinking about this last night when they announced Jerry West. I was like, man, from that era, it ain't but a handful of them left. You still got Oscar Robertson, Bob Cousy's still alive.
Yeah, he is.
90-something. And Bob Pettit, and a couple other guys just from that 60s era, that era of the NBA where we had Russell and Wilt and Havlicek and Jerry West and all those guys.
Yeah, Hondo's still alive, huh?
No, Hondo's gone.
Oh, he passed?
Yeah. So that's why I say it's only a handful of those legends that are left, man. And now it's crazy because we starting to see the guys that we grew up watching, the Magics, the Birds, the Jordan, now they are the 60-something-year-old guys that were that when we was little or younger, that Oscar and Jerry West, and they were in those 60s, in their 60s. So it's crazy how the time passed and those generations passed, bro. It's crazy.
Right. I was going to move on to the WNBA unless you had any other.
No, we good. Yeah.
Go ahead and pull this Caitlin Clark up. I don't know if you've seen these numbers.
Yeah.
This is what the WNBA's new report saying. Attendance is up 156%. About 400,000 fans are attending NBA games since she started. Televised games are averaging 1.3, which is up all across the board. We can sit here all these astronomical numbers that the WNBA is now experiencing. And the controversy is going to why Caitlin Clark was not on the Olympic women's basketball team. In my opinion, it's America. America's land of the capitalism. They should put her on the team. I mean, you look at these numbers, and I know the WNBA veterans will tell you, well, she's not prepared. She's too young. But money's money, man. I mean, the point I want to drive home here is these numbers are so high because men are watching her play. Men are buying her jerseys. Men are going to the stadiums to watch her play. Men are turning on their TVs to watch Caitlin Clark play. Now, people who watch the show know that I've been a critique of her, right? I've criticized her as far as being compared to Pistol Pete or whatnot, but as far as making money in sports, I mean, she's about the best thing going right now, so why not capitalize on it? And I want to know your opinion on this, okay?
Well, from a business standpoint, yeah, she's making a lot of money, but I think that has a lot to do with the great white hope kind of syndrome that goes on. You got this white girl that's coming into the league, hitting threes, shooting threes from far. So a lot of people are getting into that, like, okay, cool, so it's bringing a lot of attention to the game because of that side of it. But from the basketball side of it, when you talk about the Olympic team, they don't need her. They don't need her. Like you got Asia Wilson,
right?
You got Kelsey Plum, you got Brittany Griner, you got Chelsea Gray, you got Sabrina Ionescu, Drew Lloyd, Brianna Stewart, Lisa Thomas. I wrote it down. Taurasi still on the team. They don't need her. They're gonna win anyway. And now, from a popularity standpoint, white America would love to see Caitlin Clark on the team, but there are people that love to see Angel Reese on the team too. They would say love to see her put on the team as well. And even though Caitlin Clark is bringing in this kind of money because Indiana Fever games are selling out. The stadiums are selling out every game. When she goes on the road, it's selling out every game. The average attendance in other games is like 7,000. So we clearly see what the numbers are. But we know why those numbers are that, because now when you got white folks that are interested in the game, they're going to come out and spend that money. You know, but so they got to look for somebody that, in my opinion, that they can kind of latch on to and get that marketing behind and get that money behind. But it's a popularity contest, and she's putting up good rookie numbers, but she's shooting 30-something% from the field and low 30s from three-point line. So my question is, will her game have the sustainability
and getting punked down on the baseline?
Great? Well, but that's the thing. When they showed that, it was all over the sport. Yeah. They made this
which was ridiculous.
Big deal.
Come on.
But the same week, Angel Reese got clotheslined and took down the same way, and nobody said a word about it. So there is a elephant in the room of a racial dynamic that we can't avoid, that we got to take into account. But you can't argue with the bottom line either. It's money. So if you the person that's sitting in the money seat, you like, oh, well, she's a cash cow. She's making all this bread, bringing all this money to the league, bringing new attention to the league. And she may be responsible for a lot of that because of the obvious reasons I mentioned. But there are also other players who feel slighted because they're like, well, we've been here. We've been here. The Asia Wilsons, all the players I named, they like, we down at Taurasi and all. They like, we've been here. So we'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah, I acknowledge that point. Who you taking off the squad? Yeah. Taurasi, I guess, she's too old. They're going to win anyway.
Still. See, Taurasi earned her spot. Taurasi 42 years old, but she earned her spot, and she's a veteran. You got to have that. That's like when Carmelo kept being on. He got more Olympic goals than anybody that ever played in men's basketball, because you want to have people who've been there, done that before. So with the players I just named, would it be more of a popularity boost to have her there? Yeah, it would. But on the same token, with the players I just named, if she was on a team, how much would she play? As a rookie, how many is she going to start? No. But and then it would create such a attention swell, because now people are like, oh man, she ain't even getting no minutes. Why she? They would be upset that she's not playing, when in reality, this would be her first rodeo. She'd never played on that kind of. She's struggling in the NBA, in the WNBA, in terms of just her percentages. The numbers look good, but she's averaging 5 turnovers a game. So at the end of the day, man, the players they got, they'll be all right.
And it's noteworthy, right? The Dream Team.
Yeah.
Christian Laettner got picked over. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Right, and he didn't hardly even play at all.
You're not gonna play. It was more of a. It was a product of a dumb rule that they had, that you had to have a college player, which they just made it. Why would you have to have a college player when the college players losing 4 years earlier was the reason you brought the pros in the first place? So Christian Laettner had won one of the best winners in college basketball, but they didn't need him. See, that could have been the spot Isaiah was supposed to be, but they didn't want Isaiah on the team. But or Dominique or somebody could have been on that team. So I mean, if she was on that team, yeah, the media circus would be crazy.
Right.
But I just don't believe as a coach. Who's the coach? Who's coaching? Who's the head coach?
I couldn't tell you.
Whoever the head coach is, I just know being qualified, whoever that person is, I know they're going to be qualified to.
But as far as these numbers on WNBA and Caitlin Clark, and I do want to re-emphasize here, the WNBA has been struggling financially, and the NBA has been picking up the tab for we don't know how long now. And I do want to see them become prosperous. You know, I have 2 daughters. You know, people have daughters, mothers, aunts, women that we want to see succeed and make this a lucrative thing to themselves, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't have to depend on the NBA and the men to survive. So I'm all for whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? I think if this is embraced correctly, whoever it is, you know, they can, let alone the new talent that's coming into the league, right? They can maybe make this a lucrative, profitable business, and the women can start getting paid more, which is their biggest complaint.
And I think that's a good point, because even if one person is bringing that attention, regardless of who brings it in, let's all figure out a way how we can all eat off of that.
Yes.
That's all. But the league has to also, in my opinion, do a better job at marketing all the stars that are in the league. You know, because you can try to put it on one, but even in the time in the NBA when Jordan came along and they said, okay, this is going to be the guy that we put a lot of the marketing weight behind, you still had Magic and Bird, who was already established as winners, who had already saved the league. You still had Dr. J floating around in his twilight years. You still had people like Barkley and guys like that coming up that had personality. So the league could be marketed through multiple players. So if Caitlin Clark is going to be the one selected to lead that charge with the marketing and promotion, okay, cool. But don't forget about Asia Wilson. Don't forget about Angel Reese. Don't forget about all of these other great players who have. Angel Reese got 1 million followers on freaking social media, on TikTok and Instagram and all. She has a following in and of herself. You know, that's big. People want to see her too as well. So figure out a way to incorporate all of the players into one marketing scheme, and if somebody's at the forefront of it, fine, because you're going to go where the money is at. So whoever is generating these numbers, not going to lie, if Caitlin Clark is generating these numbers, then you got to go what's generating the numbers. But parlay that into something that, okay, we can bring this person in, we can incorporate this person. And I think, I ain't no marketing expert, but I think that would be more beneficial to the league, because you know, a lot of women, they feel slighted. They feeling like, oh man, why? But business is business. You know, business is business. So there's a business dynamic, there's a racial dynamic, and they're gonna have to figure it out, because like you said, being under the umbrella of the NBA, that league been losing like $10 million a year for the last few years. Man. Yeah,
boatloads.
Yeah, so it's hanging on by a thread. You know, so if you want to keep playing, you got to figure out a way how to adjust to that.
Which you emphasize, which I wanted to talk about. We maybe got off the NBA too soon, right? The Cadillac Anderson interview. I mean, I don't know how many times I've already watched it, and you should watch it too. Part 2 came out today.
No doubt.
Well, I felt like a little kid. I don't know about you. We needed a rug, and I needed to sit Indian style. And he was the professor, right? Yeah. All the knowledge he was dropping. But to come full circle on this conversation we're having, right? The 80s era of the NBA. Yeah. Something you just said, the way they marketed, right? Yeah. It'd be one thing, we just had Michael Air Jordan alone, right? Just stop right there on an island.
Right.
And I'm not even saying him dunking, the shoes, all that. I'm just saying him as a moniker. Right. Michael Air Jordan by himself was a phenomenon to the league, and markability, right? You just see green everywhere. But the league also promoted the round mound or rebound, right? The human highlight film, right? You keep going here down. Cadillac, Anderson, like you pointed out in an interview, you got to have that nickname, right?
Yeah, the nicknames, man.
They marketed it so well in the 80s.
You just made a hell of a point, man. It's like you don't see nicknames in the WNBA.
No, why?
You know, maybe I can't think of one female player in the WNBA that got a nickname, bro.
Me neither, man.
They need to start.
How does UNESCO not have a nickname?
That draws
right.
people in. You know, they may call you initials. Brittany Griner. What's up, BG? But now that don't count.
Right.
Nicknames count. But to your point about how the NBA was marketed, because everybody was thinking it was just Jordan. There's a commercial. See, Converse had these tennis shoes called Weapons back in the days. And it's a commercial where they got Magic, they got Bird, they got Isaiah Thomas, they got Marco Brown, and maybe we can run that during the episode. And Isaiah Thomas, and they doing this commercial where they rapping, about the tennis shoe, and they all had their tennis shoes in their colors. The Magic's was in the Lakers colors, Bird was in the green, and it was a Converse shoe. And that was one of the more popular commercials that was running back then because I had a pair of Weapons, all my homies in the hood, and this is while Jordans were out.
Yes.
So they wasn't as popular as the Jordans, but that was still a shoe that people gravitated towards because of how they marketed the athletes. Bird and Magic had the commercial where they was shooting in Bird's backyard playing one-on-one. Barkley had
I'm not a role model.
I'm not a role or anything else would be uncivilized commercials and all that. So all of these players, Akeem had Etonic tennis shoes.
Yes, the dream.
You had to find a way to incorporate all of the stars because if you just focus on one star in one market, then you leaving out the rest of the league, the rest of the city. Like we got Clyde the Glide. What about us over here? We got this guy, that guy, and that makes a big difference because now we can have something to latch on. Every city has something to latch on to, a star that they can latch on to. Like you said with Dominique and all these different guys, man. The WNBA has so many great players, man. Ionescu, she shoots just as good as Caitlin Clark.
Oh, yeah.
She shot against Steph last year.
Yeah, yeah.
And if Steph didn't explode in the thing, she might have beat him.
Yeah.
So it's just in the air, and she has to sustain, she has to reach a certain level of play and then sustain it in order to maintain. Because if she doesn't, it's like somebody making a hot record. Like, okay, you have fans that know you and love you for the music you make, but if you make that one hot record, now you're going to get people to latch on who never latched on, sell 2 million records, but if your next record ain't all that, them people going to scatter.
Yeah.
So if she gets to this certain level, but she's not able to maintain it, them numbers going to go right back down because people say, it's over with. The circus is over with. So that's why you have to market your other stars. You got to. That keep the league afloat, man.
What else did you take away from the Cadillac interview? There was so much we were learning.
Man,
what were some things that blew your mind?
Well, I think I was just pleasantly surprised at how knowledgeable he was about the game. He said a lot of low key X's and O's stuff that I caught. Like, ooh, okay, yeah. He was explaining different little sciences of the game that I caught. You don't play in the league that long and not understand and know the game. And people don't like to give big men credit for being thinkers of the game and knowing how to play, knowing strategies, knowing X's and O's and stuff like that. They just a master class, man.
Right.
And great funny stories. Entertaining stories. He didn't get up here and make up stuff. Everything that he said was verifiable as was proof in the clips that you matched to it. So yeah, it just a great interview, man, to have Big Brother on, man.
Yeah, the one about Isaiah and Bill quit the team, and he said, "I'm finally here on the Bad Boys."
Man,
ain't this
they gone? The behind the scenes stuff, the fights.
I'm left with Terry Mills, ain't this something, man?
Maxwell and Sean Elliott fighting in practice and stuff that we would have never knew about.
Never, man.
So
right.
That's the beauty of having legends that are still around that can pass those stories along because we wouldn't have known about that. So now we know those stories. Now the world know those stories are out, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Not only that, the part where I said, you backed up Akeem Olajuwon. That's why is that what you knew?
Right. No,
I didn't know about the part where Guy V said, "Hey, man, this dude's too good. We got to move him into the 4."
I
didn't know about that.
I knew he played with Dream, but I didn't. I was young at the time,
right.
So I didn't know all of the details of it. But yeah, man, there's so many guys who were not star players, all-star players, but they had successful long careers. And one of the things I say is always a plus. People try to knock a player who bounced around from team to team. One of the things that's a plus about being a guy who play, man, you get to play with so many great players, man.
Yes.
You get to play with legends, because I had forgotten that he played with Isaiah and all that. So
right, me too.
I'm thinking of the list of guys that he had played with from Dream to Jack Sigma and all these. If you lay out a list of players that Cadillac have actually played with in his time in the league, just being a teammate of, it would be an all-star team in and of itself.
Right.
So guys like that, man, are valuable, man. The stuff he said about the health, the league and health care and the pensions for the older guy, that stuff need to be brought out to the forefront, man.
Yeah,
so y'all go watch that interview, man, straight up.
That's a priceless interview, and hopefully maybe in the future maybe have another one, who knows. But man, I like to see, I can imagine his trophy shelf, right?
Man, bro, come on.
Whoa.
Man. Come on, bro. I just...
he played 3 complete 82-game seasons.
You had to back then. It wasn't like with no load management back then. We ain't load managing in the 80s, bro, or the 90s. Everybody talking about we done with the 90s and all that. Now we done with load management.
And another note worthy of Cadillac Anderson's career, somebody out there, he was just a scrub. Man. No. When he was given minutes, the man averaged a double-double.
Without a doubt.
That ain't easy to do in the NBA, especially in that era of nothing but big men to average a double-double every night, 82 games.
The game is politics, bro.
Right.
And sometimes, even when you are a really good player, still got a bunch of years left, if the next guy comes in and the organization already has a plan for who this next guy is going to be in the organization, then they'll make a guy who's well capable take a back seat. I've seen a bunch of podcasts where retired players have talked about, they brought this guy in, they told me I wasn't going to play because they had to play the young guy. So it's a political thing that a lot of non-superstar players, they have to go through, and every year you fighting for your spot. So it's not going to be no load management. It's going to be a situation where guys are playing 75, 80, 82 games a year, because in their mind, they're like, just like when Richard was here, it's like, dude, hurt or not, I got to play, because one false move, I'm being substituted, I'm being replaced. So it just, I wouldn't trade that era, man. That's the toughest era, that's the strongest era, and I was glad to be old enough to watch that era, to remember it. Like the same way I watch basketball now. That's the mind frame I was in the 80s and the 90s, where I remember all that like it was yesterday.
If he played today, is he throwing Steph Curry to the floor like that?
Maybe not.
Food for thought, right?
Maybe not, because
a hard foul, maybe, but throwing him to the floor.
Well, he didn't throw Jordan to the floor. If you watch it, he got on the ball. Now he pulled down, but Mike, momentum is a real gravity. Right. Momentum is a real thing. He actually made a play on the ball from Mike.
He did try to catch him like that.
Yeah, he made a play on the ball, but Mike's momentum took him down. But,
right.
I mean, but in this day and age, a player has to think about his own money. So the fines are not $100 no more.
Right,
$500,
he said $100.
And not even $1,000. No, you getting fined $40,000, $50,000, $100,000, missing games without pay. So you got to think about your own bread. Yeah, I might give you a hard one, but especially if I'm not a star player making $25, $30 million a year, I may be making $3 or $4, $5 million a year, which is nice, but I ain't trying to come off $100,000 out of that, because you got that $4 million once it's taxed, once your agent get their part, once you paying expenses for the lifestyle that you living, that $4 million can turn into nothing real fast. So they ain't playing with their money like that, man.
What a contrast! Caitlin Clark gets shoved.
Yeah.
Right, the whole world's up in arms, right? Jordan gets thrown to the ground. Imagine this day and age with the social media and whatnot. You know, Cadillac Anderson would have been the villain, boy.
Well, you know,
not that he wasn't then at that moment. I'm sure the Chicago
just
fans,
no social
but
media,
right, it's not amplified like it would be today.
Right. You know, and like I say, Caitlin Clark is the cash cow. They're trying to protect her at all costs. So every little thing they're gonna magnify. They're gonna act like it's the worst thing ever. Caitlin Clark flops a lot anyway. That old girl hit her. But it wasn't that. And like again, compare the hit Caitlin Clark took to what Alyssa Thomas did to Angel Reese.
Right.
And it was like a horse collar. So,
right.
But you heard crickets behind that. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not the great white hope. You know what I'm saying? And the hype. So we'll see if the popularity. It's a popularity contest, and we'll see if her game can reach to the point where she can be worthy of that protection, right? So we got to see what happens,
right? Which is going to take some time, man. Admittedly, with that Fever team, right?
Yeah. They need some help.
Well, I guess we're going to switch gears here and into the NFL. And Reggie, if you could bring up the I don't know if you've seen this new NFL rule. And I've been meaning to bring it up on the show. It's definitely worth discussion. And that is the new kickoff rule. Run this video.
Yeah, let me
if you've seen this, full screen this, Reg, and run from the top. Run from the top.
I heard something about it.
Because I'm just getting myself familiar with this.
About the NFL's new kickoff rule. It's going to look a lot like the XFL's kickoff rule. The kicker's going to be at the 35, but the kickoff team is going to start on the other 40-yard line, only 5 yards away from the blockers. These guys won't be able to move until the ball is touched by the returner. Now, the end zone to the 20-yard line will be known as the landing zone, and this is where the returner or returners will set up. If the ball is caught in this zone, it must be returned. There are no more fair catches. Remember, this rule is to encourage returns. The return rate last year was only 22%. So to incentivize that, touchbacks are much harsher to the kicking team. So let's break that down. If the kick doesn't reach the landing zone, the ball is placed at the 40-yard line. If it goes out of the end zone or flies into the end zone and is down, like a normal touchback, the ball will be placed at the 35. If it hits in the landing zone and then rolls into the end zone and is downed, the ball will be placed at the 20. But again, this is all to incentivize them kicking it into the landing zone. And if it's caught in the landing zone, it must be returned. Now, what about onside kicks? Well, the actual kick will look the exact same. The only difference is the team has to declare it to the referee, who will then notify the receiving team, which means there's no more surprise onside kicks. So, do you think this rule change will be good for the league?
All right, let me go. Two things that stood out to me first and foremost.
Let me get the scientists down at U of H and Rice first on the phone so I can figure out what I just watched.
No, I just plucked out two parts that stood
People
out
at
to me.
NASA, you can explain this to us?
They said if the kickoff doesn't land in that landing zone, they call it from the 20 to the goal line, then the receiving team automatically gets the ball at the 40-yard line. What kickoff do you ever remember in your life that didn't even make it
to the 40
to the 20-yard line?
20, right.
He would have to accidentally shank the kick on and to make it not. Every kick. That's why the return rate that he mentioned was so low, because they said the return rate last year was like 20. That means 22% of kickoffs got returned. That means that 78% are either out of bounds or touchbacks or whatever. So nobody's going to kick the ball off and it doesn't make it. So nobody's going to start at the 40. But now onside kicks, the question I have is, okay, if I got to let the referee know we're going to do an onside kick, whatever, what about the 10-yard rule that used to be eligible for the ball has to go 10 yards, but we only lined up 5 yards apart.
Right.
So they didn't even mention that.
Nope.
So that's the part I'm confused about. If would that make the onside kick just fair game? Because how can I get the ball 10 yards if the receiving team and the kicking team are only 5 yards apart? So those are the two things that stood out to me. I had to do a little more checking to see how.
My other critique of that is if they're lined up 5 yards apart all the way, see the opposing kicking teams on the 40. I used to play special teams too. So that means if I'm on the 40-yard line kicking to the opponent and he decides to catch it, if I get passed by my man who's only me and you right here,
yeah.
How hard is it to get? I'm sorry, get past you. But how hard is it to get past me? Right, be fair, right? But once I get past you, I'm taking his head off.
Yeah.
Because he has to catch it.
And didn't they say
that's safe?
Didn't they say you got to wait until the guy catches it before you can move, or to the guy?
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but it sounded like they said you got to wait till the guy catches it before the defensive team even make. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? When you're about to catch that ball, you have the option. Bear catch it or get my head taken off. I'm talking about somebody's bearing down on you.
Right.
But they're saying here he has no option.
There's no more fair catches.
He has to catch it.
Yeah, if it's in the landing zone, you got to catch it. But I think they said that the defensive team has to wait. So they're not going to be right on his head no more. Now the question is, okay, so that's just kickoffs. So is punts? What's punts the same?
Return? Is it the same? I don't know.
But we'll see as it goes. But one thing I don't like, man, I don't like when they start to incorporate too many of what I believe to be gimmicks into sports, like traditional ways they've been doing things, man. When it gets too gimmicky, man, I lose.
Starting from the beginning, real quick, Reg. Like when it starts off on the wrong foot, starting right here when it says from the XFL. Yeah. Well, already we're on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
Why are you taking rules from the XFL? Yeah. Who told you that? Yeah. Why? XFL has failed at every juncture that they've ever had. Right. XFL has never been successful.
They're probably trying to pick and pluck certain things that they feel like. That's like the NBA stealing the slam dunk contest from the ABA. But I just don't like gimmicky crap. See, it's like how extra innings are set up now in baseball. They automatically put a guy on second base to start the inning, and then you get a hit. Okay, that's a run. It's no. I don't like this. So that's to eliminate seeing, I guess, 15, 16 inning games and all that type of stuff. But I'm not with it, man. I like to keep things the way they are. I know kickoff returns for touchdowns are not as prevalent as they used to be, but I'm just a purist, man. I'm old school, bro. Quit changing up stuff, man. We're going to add a 5-point line in the NBA next year. We're gonna leave stuff like it is, man. Leave stuff alone, bro.
Right. I'm a purist, too, as far as football goes. I think this is a case in point. You got to watch this damn video to explain to me how the kickoff works. Right. I think you're failing.
Look. How long have the new overtime rules been in the NFL?
Right.
I still don't understand it. I don't understand the overtime rules in the NFL, right? And I know they've been doing that 5-6 years, however long, where they say, well, the guy got to do it, the team has to score a touchdown. I'm still confused. I just watch it and see what happens.
Right.
I like sudden death. Now, if anything you would change, you say, okay, look, man, let's just make sure that both teams get the ball. Regardless of what happens, just let both teams get the ball, and then if one team scores, the other one don't, game over. But they got so many twists and turns to this stuff, man. I'm confused, bro.
Well, let's just hope the Texans have one badass kick returner, and we get to reap all these benefits, right? And then we all shut up.
Tank Dell was that guy, But
I don't love these rules.
I don't know if I want to have him returning kicks though, because with his injury history,
right?
Yeah, but he would have been a perfect candidate. They may still stick him back there from time to time, though.
But we still wait on the Texans season. There's still all the hype swirling, and now I hear the quarterback of the Texans is starting a little rivalry with Dallas and is talking some smack, and I hope we can all back it up. That's all I'm hoping, man.
Well, they play this year. They play in the regular season this year.
Oh yeah,
so that's gonna be
awesome.
Good. C.J. Stroud and Michael Parsons, they real cool. They tight. So they got this little back and forth thing that they have going on.
Right.
It's gonna be, and plus they play on opposite sides of the ball, so they got to face each other. So it's gonna be cool, man. But the Texans got a first place schedule. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but they didn't stand pat with the players they had. They made improvements. They got better roster wise. So we should be able to compete with even the Kansas Cities of the league, man. We should be able to compete with any of those teams, man.
And when was the last time you could say that about any football team?
Well,
from Houston,
you got to go
back.
It's
been a while.
You got to go back to Deshaun when they had the 20-something point lead on Kansas City, just a few short years. Man. That wasn't that long ago, and they blew that lead. They almost did a 93 Oilers, but it wasn't the lead wasn't as big. But I'm just glad because I didn't think we were going to get another quarterback like that for another 20 years. So, we'll see. A lot of things got to happen and fall in place, but Baltimore's going to be good or better, just as good as better. Kansas City's going to be Kansas City, and got to see what's up with Buffalo. And Aaron Rodgers coming back to the Jets, man, it's going to be tough in that AFC, bro. We got to jump out early, get that lead. The division is still winnable, and then after that, you just got to win one game at a time.
Plus the division, with the Jags.
Yeah, the division is super winnable. And
man. I can't believe I say this name out. I'm fixing my mouth to say the Colts.
Yeah. They just paid Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has got a big $260-something million contract with $200 million guaranteed. Wow. They just paid him today. So he gonna be looking to try to live up to that money that they just paid him.
And he has come a long way, man. I didn't think he would be this good, but he has been an excellent quarterback.
He got caught up with Urban Meyer, man, that first year. That just messed him up, yeah. But now he's a good quarterback, but I still feel like we got the best team in the division.
Oh, yeah.
Even with all of the young quarterbacks in the division, I feel like we got the best quarterback and the best coach in that division.
Right. Speaking of coaches, Bill O'Brien came out recently saying he had regrets of being the GM of the Texans. We all had regrets, Bill. We're glad you're gone. Yeah. You almost destroyed this organization, destroyed the roster. We never knew how long it was going to take to get us back to anything.
I think he tried to sabotage it. And,
I would not argue with you on that,
and
man.
Even when he came out talking about it, he never mentioned what the big one. He didn't even mention DeAndre Hopkins. He didn't mention that because that just showed to me his ego was still so overblown that you trying to act like you showing this humility to say, well, mention the big one.
Yeah.
Mention the elephant in the room.
Hold yourself accountable, man.
Yeah. So
biggest mistakes in probably NFL history.
Yeah, we're not trying to hear how bad you felt about something. No, mention if you'd have said, man, the worst thing I did was I traded DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson.
Who just retired, by the way.
Man, he retired about 4 years ago.
He retired after that trade? Yeah. Or before the trade?
The year before the trade. So that's my point. So we ain't falling for no fake humility and fake regret from that dude, man. He almost single-handedly destroyed the franchise, so my bill.
And I know that people say, he got us to 4 playoffs and 6. I don't hear any of that.
I just mentioned how winnable that division been for the decade. You supposed to win that division. We're supposed to win that division, of course. And that didn't happen until Andrew Luck decided he was not going to play no more. Yeah. So we wouldn't win no division and doing all that, in his time. And if we did, it may have been 1. But nah, man, he's never been a good coach to me. But if you got J.J. Watt and later on Deshaun and guys like that, Hopkins guy, you're gonna be a good team. You're gonna have a good. Clowney was good at the time, so I mean, even a bad coach can be the beneficiary of good talent, and they'll make him look better than what he really is. So,
right. Well, we'll switch gears onto the baseball, the MLB, and that's we got the Astros. They're kind of right in the middle of the pack. Yeah. And I believe we have Tommy John has made the All-Star roster this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Nah,
man,
he's been the most popular name on the pitching staff. He did have a birthday, though. Tommy John turned 81 years old about a month ago. Yeah.
We were hitting a plague of injuries. I think Bregman is having some type of injury. Yeah. Now Tucker is having some type of injury, right? Just as we thought we was going to kind of move up out of the cellar. But, this is baseball, and we went out and got Trevor Bauer. Have you heard about this? Which is a controversial player. He was brought up on sexual assault charges of 3 different women, but I believe that all settled out in court and nothing became of it. But still, it's a dark cloud that hangs over his head. Yeah. And now he's coming to Houston, and people are going to, have their say about it. You know what I'm saying? But the Astros can take anything they can get right now as far as pitching, and maybe that's heading in the right direction.
I mean, Look, man, the Astros have been deep in the playoffs for the last 6 years.
Yes.
They've been to 3 or 4 World Series.
We're spoiled.
In the last.
Yes.
So the point is, things come to an end at some point. You know. Now, does it mean it's going to come to an end and then we right back to being just trash or mediocre? No. You could have an off season, re-power up, and come back next season and be right back in the mix, in the thick of things, if the front office wants to do that and do right and spend money. But hey, man, 6 straight years of being right there in the thick of things as a contender and putting out 2 championships out of all that, man. I mean, it's unfortunate they having the year that they having, but and then I would be shocked. I don't think it's going to turn around this year because the pitching, like you just said, has been so hit. But I mean, just focus on next year. In my opinion, because there's 7 games under 500 at the time we currently talking about this. I'm not a fan of all of the moves that a spotter makes all the time. It's like some stuff I'll be like, man, like the other night when he put Montero in the game, I was like, why he came right in and you know, so I mean, getting his head popped off. So I mean, it's just what it is. If you have a drop off year, cool. Focus on powering up next year, and just hope somebody beat the Yankees this year. That's all you do.
Right, and they are taking advantage of their minor leagues. They're pulling up players from the minor leagues. You know, they're giving them a shot at getting playing time, and that's got to be appreciated because the Astros always have a great minor league system.
Yeah, they did. It's not as strong as it once was, but they just haven't been able to put both things together. But now, if you look at how Framber Valdez is pitching now, pitching real good now. Renel Blanco still pitching good, even after the little hiccup he had. And Verlander pitching good. So you got 3 guys that you can look at and kind of say, okay, cool. Hunter Brown and the other guy, Spencer Arrighetti, they start out real bad, but the last 2 or 3 starts, they've been picking up. So even in the losses that they've been having recently, it's been 3-1. 3-1. They know low scoring games, you know. So the hitting and the pitching got to line up. So it's a long shot. I don't think that they're gonna do nothing this year, but the goal is to get a wild card spot if you can, and then once you get in, anything can happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
And an update on a topic we talked about early shows. The MLB is now seriously talking about robot umpires 2025. Have you read that?
I'm going to stop watching. I'm be done. I'm done. Because it's like, come on, man. Remember what we just got to talk about, adding gimmicks to the game with the football? And I'm not into that, man. I mean, when we did the episode, we spoke about that. The thing that I mentioned was the removal of the human element from the game. It's like, the game, the human element is the game. The emotion, the actual human itself. So, I mean, it's like, that's not something that I would be interested in seeing, man. You know, it's going to take some, because, like I said, it's going to be a flaw in that. It's going to be a flaw in that. What's going to happen when the robot ain't working that day? You know, sometimes you can't get on the internet. It's like, man, my internet is down. Okay, man, the robot is down. Well, we got an alternate ump or a living ump. It's like, nah, man, I ain't.
No, you bring up a good point. What's the day? It's fog.
Yeah, right.
Fog's in the outdoor stadium. Well, is he going to be able to see the sensors?
And so, and where would he position?
What are you going to do when it's raining?
That's what I was going to ask. Where would he be positioned? The robot up behind the plate.
From what I understand, they're positioned strategically all throughout the stadium, and they all hone in on the home plate somehow.
So they're not on the field, actually on the field?
That I don't know, but they're
because
located
when you say about raining, it's like it's gonna rust out. It's like they gotta hurry up. See, when it starts to rain in the baseball game, they'll play for a little while before it starts pouring down. So you might get 2 or 3 innings in, and if the robot is on the field, we gotta roll this robot out the field, man. We don't want it to get wet. But I don't just on a serious note, man, it's just not something I want to see, man. I'll stop watching baseball if they do that, for real.
What do we do when the robot starts betting on games? I can't help it, man. We're in a new landscape, right?
Hey, look.
You thought Pete Rose was bad? Wait till you get
I might have to ride with what the robot say. He might know More than the humans.
Robot banned from the league for life.
It's just trash, man.
Right.
I'm not into that.
Going in a weird direction.
It's messing the game up.
Right.
And as bad as these umps are, because a lot of these umps are bad. Like the worst ump in baseball history just retired, Angel Hernandez. That's like the worst dude of all time. And he just laid it down. But as bad as the umpires are in baseball, that's still a part of the game. That's still a part of the game that we don't want to see be removed from the game. And then what if you ump like, man, I lost my job.
So let me clarify. When the ump is hovering right over the plate, he's got his eyes right on the play, and he gets it wrong, and they challenge it, and they still get it wrong. You're telling me you don't want that removed from the league?
No. Because it's always been there.
Right.
I want to see the dude run out to the thing and cussing out. I want to see him standing to the face. Because one thing about baseball that's different from any other sport, the ump gonna give it back to you. When you run out there and talk crazy to the ref in football, he don't say nothing. The ref in basketball just gonna tee you up and kick you out. The ump in baseball, they gonna stand toe to toe and holler and cuss right back at you. So that's part of the game.
Right. It's an adjustment, man, with all this technology coming in to sports. Who knows how much it's going to change even basketball or football.
Oh, man. See, when they start playing around with basketball too much, that's when I'm gonna really be just not invested no more, because
it's a challenge already, man, with the review rules they have.
Review,
and they get it wrong, it just annoys the hell out of me.
Play-in tournament, the in-season tournament, the this, the that, the like. Nah, I'm not. They doing too much, man. They doing, and they could say, man, I'm old school. I am, but they doing too much, man. Let's just let the game. I know advancements have to be made. There's certain things that you want to advance and make better, but to your point, they'll review the play and still get it wrong. You looking dead at it. Or they'll review the play and something that's clear and obvious. Boop, hit the ball. It'll take 8 minutes for them to determine. They rewind it back. The hand, ball. Did the ball spin? The ball went off the man's hand. Let's say that and start back playing again. So it's going to be flaws regardless, man. But
since we're on the subject, we got to have a rant. The wreck of rant. I get this right, huh?
Rex rant.
But how many times have you seen this? They'll challenge it. They go to the monitors. They all group. They all watch it. And they watch it for a long time. Then they'll discuss. And then watch it again. Yeah. Then they step away, right?
Yeah.
I think this is part of the protocol. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
And they'll sit and talk away. And they go back and go look at it again.
Yeah.
You just watched it for 8 minutes. All three of y'all. What did you miss?
It make me feel like...
And they still get it wrong.
It's situational. Because if it's a playoff game, if this team is at home, this possession might really be needed by that particular team. I think when they do that, they're trying to figure out ways to justify how to favor a particular team with this call, and then at the same time tell us that our eyes ain't seeing what our eyes are actually seeing. So, yeah, that because we watching it at home from all these different angles, slow motion, reverse, all this, and you can look one time and go, oh, yeah, it went off of him. And they still looking at it. So
still released the report after the game. Oh, it was incorrect.
Yeah. Because I think that certain teams, I still believe that certain teams are the teams that these guys want to see win. They want to see them. I heard that which surprised me, that the ratings for this finals, I heard that the ratings was kind of low. They were down. And I was like, man, the ratings down with Kyrie and Luka and
with the Celtics
Boston.
Wow.
Yeah. So that surprised me. But that's what I heard. So maybe they're trying to figure out a way to get. That's why there's so much adjustment. We got to make sure LeBron has a contending team. We got to try to get Steph and them back up, because it got to be something that they feel like is going to drive the ratings. And according to what they're saying, it's just not happening right. And now with this thing being over pretty much, because the ratings would naturally pick up if it was a better series. If it was 2-1, 2-2, 3-3, and game 7, then naturally it's going to shoot up. But now that it's pretty much a done deal. Yeah.
Well, we're going to round third here. I do want to bring up boxing.
Yeah.
The Tyson fight's been postponed. He's had some type of ulcer issue going on. I wonder how that's going to affect the fight, which they did postpone it to August or September.
That's what I was about to ask.
Right.
What date? What date? That
I
ain't bad.
think they moved it to August or
month.
October.
That's a month off. That's a month off. Yeah. I was glad to hear postpone instead of the word cancellation.
Right.
You know, because I'm still looking forward to seeing what's going on. But a lot of times, man, you know, at that age, you start having those little injuries and situations and conditions and all that. And especially when you have been training so hard to get yourself into some level of shape.
Right.
And then when you have a setback, now you down, you can't work out. You may not even be able to work out for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and then you got to start back over. And that plays into it, man. That plays a lot into, especially at 58 years old, which he's going to be by the time they fight. So, you know, we'll see what's happening. I'm just.
It might be 60 by the time they fight.
Yeah, I just, you know, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I just feel like whenever the fight happens, I just feel like something janky going to happen. It's going to be some gimmicky little thing going to happen, man. And I don't want to see that, man.
Me neither, man. But we hold out and wait to see what happens.
And it's a shame that this is the fight that we all are looking forward to, because this is where boxing has come. You know, it's like this would be just a little gimmick fight 30 years ago or back in the days of Ali. It's like we wouldn't be worried about no fight like this. But the fact that the heavyweight division and boxing on the whole, it's better, but it's not where it was, to where we gotta actually look at a Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, and in many people's eyes, including ours, this is gonna be considered as the biggest fight of the year. And it's between a 20-something-year-old novice and a 58-year-old ex-champion, you know, because Wilder got knocked out a couple of weeks ago by a 41-year-old guy. Tyson Fury lost. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
And who those that seen that Wilder fight, parental discretion is advised.
Yeah.
Oh, my
goodness. Yeah. And
man, he needs to hang it up, huh?
So, I would...
You think he's
done? Suggest that. Yeah, I would suggest, because, see, knowing when a fight is done, it should be based around the caliber of fighters that they are losing to.
Yes.
See, if we in our prime and two great guys in their prime, two great guys in their prime fight and one guy win. Like when Fury and Wilder had the trilogy, okay, Fury beat him twice. You can't look at it then and say, well, he's done, he should retire. Okay, these guys are kind of at the top of the division. But when you start losing a guy, the dude 41 years old, man, and knocks you out, and then it's time to lay it down because of the caliber of people you losing to. So he made a lot of money. He may try to still come back and save face, because it's like you don't want to go out like that. But sometimes the writing be on the wall, bro.
And to give him credit, I believe his story, if I'm not mistaken, Wilder was... He was not a classically trained boxer. He
you can see it now.
I believe his daughter has some type of special needs. I might be getting this wrong, but he went into boxing to alleviate some of the bills or whatnot.
You can see
and
it
he
now,
did that.
The technique. Now, I love Deontay Wilder.
Right.
Like I said, because of that, but also because just what he's standing on, man. You know, he come across as just a real dude. But yeah, you can see a lot of the flaws in technique when he rears back a lot. You know, he's off balance. He's out of position a lot of time when he throws his punches. But all that being said, yeah, he made a strong career for himself and made millions
for
and
life,
millions of dollars,
man.
and was a world champion.
Yes.
So you can't knock that.
No, man. That. What a great career he had. If he decides to hang it up, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely. Well, I guess we're gonna end up here with some oddities. Bring this up, Reg.
What we got? Well,
first off, we got the highlight of James Hardens at his. He went to a wedding. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. He obviously, I guess, has not taught his girlfriend the step back.
I just read the title. The title just made me laugh.
Yeah, he ain't teach her the step back move, man. And there's the Twitter video. They're throwing the bouquet at the wedding. And guess who catches it?
Wow. You know what that looks?
Teach you to step back, James. You gotta step back on that, man.
This I can sum this up. I can break this down in 5 seconds. See, look how happy she is. She like, oh, it's going down. Because in a woman's mind, that catching the bouquet, that's like law.
Right.
It's like, okay, we getting married. Now on the flip side, he looking like, oh, hell no. I don't know what baby girl thinking. But and I don't know if she know my reputation, but it's not gonna happen. Because peep the game. Pause it one more time. Now here's the game. They were in the very back of the room. So in his mind, he probably like, we safe back here. There's no way.
Come over here, right in the back.
When you watch the bouquet throw, this is my first time seeing it. It seemed like it just bounced. It went through a few hands. She threw that bouquet like a underhand curve slide or something, and that thing like you skip a rock across the lake. That thing skipped across them girls and landed right. So in his mind, he like, man, how in the world?
They planned this out, man. They got me on this one, man.
Yeah, that's jank. But now, that's the look of a dude who ain't trying to get married no time soon. Trust and believe.
Right.
But that hug said it all for her. They on 2 different pages right now.
And since we're talking about James Harden, I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is really, really fascinating. I found this about a year ago. Let's pull up James Harden. Where's it at, Reg? Well, they do some editing, right? And this is James Harden if he was right-handed. Have you ever seen this?
Mm-mm.
This is really wild. It gives you a whole new perspective on players.
Yeah, I remember this shot.
What if James Harden was right-handed? What would it look like?
Yeah.
It's wild, man. Like, wow, this dude is... I don't know. You just see it in a different light. Like, what a shooter he is. You know, I don't know why you have to show him shooting with the right hand to comprehend that, but it's a different way of looking at James's career, and I got some other ones I pulled up of right-handers playing left hand.
Yeah. Okay, I see what they did.
Yeah, they
just made it
inverted
to the mirror area because I see. I'm looking at the words on the ground and on the Rockets is backwards and all that.
Like somebody, took footage of you and inverted it. How would you look shooting lefty, right?
Yeah.
How mechanically sound are you, right? As far as shooting left-handed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen this before.
No.
There's I got a couple other ones pulled up. Steph, what if Steph played left-handed? Look at this.
He do sometime. We hit it with a dream shake right there. Watch it. He look like Dream. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's pure. If it was shooting with his feet, it'd be pure, huh?
Man, some of them left-hand dudes, them be the most deadliest shooters ever.
Man.
So if he was naturally left-handed, he might be a better shooter than he is now.
And it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up. Mike Conley.
Yeah.
I believe he's right-handed, but he shoots left. Do you know this?
Yeah, that's just like Dwight Howard is naturally left-handed.
Like Phil Mickelson, he shoots golf with left, but he's a righty.
Yeah.
They call him lefty.
They have people who they write with their right hand, but they born left-handed.
Because I saw a shooting competition one time with Mike Conley, and there was some type of horse thing, and he was having to shoot with his right hand. I was like, he should shoot with his right. It looks more natural, but he shoots with his left.
These guys are so skilled, man, that a lot of these guys, they practice shooting with their offhand.
All right, pull up Jordan.
Just like Larry Bird. Larry Bird could shoot shots with his left hand the same way he could shoot with his right hand. Michael Jordan shooting left-hand free throws.
There you go, Michael Jordan on the left. That's the last one I wanted to show you.
Kobe, all these guys, they work on that stuff, man. They got Tom Brady left-handed. Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, man. All the years playing basketball, some guy gets on the court and he's a lefty and he's good.
Yeah.
You're in for a long night, man.
Some of the coldest shooters I ever played against were left-hand guys, man. Those left-hand guys can shoot when they work on their shot. Yeah.
Looks funny though.
Yeah, but with Mike, maybe not jump shots, but I've seen Mike make so many left-handed layups, man. Like that don't even look unnatural to me to see Mike going to the hole, finishing with the left hand. Like right here, that's natural. I've seen that in real life many times. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good.
And I think people are talking about Jordan. Is we watching Jordan?
Yeah.
How big his hands were, right?
Yeah.
Wow, some of the biggest in NBA history.
I saw they had a list. They had top 10 NBA players with biggest hands, and he was definitely in the top 10. You know, you got a guy like Kawhi, Wilt, Boban.
Giannis,
I think Boban might have been number one. Giannis was in it. Yeah, but yeah, Mike is right there as a guard. You know, because Mike could hold basketball like a freaking tennis ball.
I believe there's video of him palming a pumpkin.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's strong. Yeah.
You palm the ball?
Shaq, nah.
Yeah, man.
Shaq right there too, you know, Kawhi, all those guys, man.
But yeah, I thought it was something oddity. I don't know if you've seen this. Players looking at them in another light. It's just kind of wild.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do one on myself, man.
Especially on James Hardens. You see him shoot the right hand. It's like, oh, wow, James.
Yeah.
Very mechanically sound. I just never really realized it because he shoots left-hand, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think this is about wrap this episode up unless you had something else, Kay.
No, man, that's it.
Or any announcements you got?
Nah, man, we just looking forward to football season. I don't want to speak too far ahead on the Rockets, but yeah, we looking forward to football season and because basketball season is over.
Right,
and
it's
so
gonna be
we'll
a
see how
void
it goes,
right
man.
until football starts.
So y'all make sure y'all subscribe as usual.
Yes, sir.
Spread the word. Share these videos, man, and let's get it popping, man.
And drop a comment, man. Tell us how we're doing or some subjects you want us to talk about or argue about or whatnot. And we're still working on getting some more guests on the show. I got one that I'm working on. I do want to mention Mike Vance. And I discovered him late one night on Houston Media Source. And he was telling us the history of... He was at an event. He was talking about the history of the red light district in Houston, which was fascinating. It's not about sports, but I got on his website, and lo and behold, the man's a published author.
Yeah.
And one of his books is the history of Houston baseball,
Wow.
1861 to 1961.
Wow.
Houston baseball. Mike Vance. We'll hopefully have him on probably a Zoom call. He lives out of town, but he's also on the Astros Hall of Fame committee. That's what he says. So I'm sure we'll get some really good stories and whatnot from Mike Vance, hopefully here soon. But subscribe, like. We'll see you next time, Legends 34.
Yeah.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.